I may just be a high school student speaking in front of you all today, but just like every single one of you here, I have habits that guide me throughout my everyday life. Habits. They shape nearly half of our daily actions, often without us even realizing it. From how we eat, to how active we are, to how we interact with all the people around us every single day. Additionally, preventative health, which aims to prevent health conditions and issues before they arise, has never been more important and is largely shaped by our habits. So today, I will take you all into the science behind habits, the role of our habits in preventative health, why the youth need to take the charge of preventative health, and the tangible steps that each and every one of us can make to improve our habits for ourselves and our communities. The science of habits is deeply rooted in neuroscience. Right now, Charles Duhigg, Pulitzer Prize-winning journalist and Harvard Business School graduate, has introduced us to one of the most important models in all of habit science: the habit loop. The habit loop consists of three parts: the cue, the routine, and the reward. The cue is what makes us want to do something. The routine is the action itself, and the reward is the satisfaction, the good feeling we get from it that makes us want to go through this loop again, again, and again, hence making it a loop. For example, let's say the cue is you being bored one day just sitting on the couch. So you decide that you want to get up and eat a yummy snack. And then, after eating the yummy snack, you get a good feeling, the good taste in your mouth. That's the reward that makes you want to go through this all again, again, and again. And over time, this becomes automatic. We do it without even realizing it. We think that we're doing a new individual action each time, but we're really just going through this loop that we don't realize. And this all becomes encoded in the basal ganglia, the part of our brain that controls our routine decision-making and behaviors. So, now that we understand the habit loop, why are these habits so difficult to change? I mean, that's the pressing question that I believe all of you here watching have probably at least wondered once before. Well, this all takes us back to the habit loop. The habit loop becomes more automatic each time we go through it. And so each time we go through it, it becomes exponentially harder the next time to change it. However, we're able to leverage our understanding of neuroscience to allow us to change our habits, make them better, make them healthier. Specifically, we're able to use our understanding of synaptic plasticity. Synaptic plasticity is our brain's ability to form new connections, to break them, to strengthen connections, to weaken them. The way we do this sounds simple, but it's a lot harder than it sounds. We first need to go back to the habit loop again. You need to identify the cue and the reward associated with each of your habits. Once you identify the cue and the reward in your habit loop, it will allow you to identify the routine in the middle. Then, like in the example I gave, the next time you feel bored on the couch, instead of going to eat a yummy snack, you can take out that old routine, put in a new one, a healthier one. For example, instead of eating that snack, you could read a book, go on a jog, or something else that is truly beneficial to your health. And over time, this will all become stronger. As we go through this again, this new habit loop that we've created will become automatic, and the old one will diminish, leaving the connection in our brain through synaptic plasticity becoming stronger for our new, healthier habit. So, Now that we understand the habit loop and how to change our habits, I want to introduce you all to one of the most important concepts in all of habit science, one of the most important types of habits that each and every one of you can have. These types of habits are called keystone habits. Keystone habits are habits that don't just benefit you in one aspect of your life, but these keystone habits are able to benefit you and impact a large variety of areas across your life. A very common example of a keystone habit is engaging in daily exercise, like running. People who engage in exercise every day will not only help them become more fit, but it will also improve eating habits, sleeping habits, and it will also improve your mood throughout the day. Hence making it a keystone habit because of how it impacts so many aspects of your life. And now, I'm going to introduce you all to one of the most important examples of keystone habits in habit science. This example is Paul O'Neill. Paul O'Neill was a former CEO of Alcoa, an aluminum manufacturing company, and former Secretary of Treasury for the United States. During his time at Alcoa, Paul O'Neill placed an immense pressure on the keystone habit of good worker safety habits. These habits at Alcoa not only reduced the amount of accidents that occurred, but it also improved the productivity and it improved the mood of everybody who worked there. And this in turn made Alcoa much more profitable. The reason this example is so important is because it shows how when a collective group, a team of people, all participate in a keystone habit, whether this group is at school, work, or a sports team, or someplace else, it will make this group much more successful in accomplishing the goals that they're trying to achieve. Because it is the power of working together with keystone habits that does this. So, now that we understand our habits, I want to introduce you all to something I spoke a little bit about earlier, preventative health. Preventative health is the approach to our medicine that is proactive. It aims to prevent health conditions and issues before they arise, instead of treating them after the fact. Right now, the CDC estimates that there's around 70% of total American deaths to chronic diseases like obesity, diabetes, and heart diseases, all of which are largely preventable through our preventative health. But the reason that this is not happening is because people do not have the correct habits, keystone habits, and they have the wrong habits, like having a diet of highly processed foods and not engaging in the proper daily exercise and movement. But how do we enact this change for preventative health and the habits that define our preventative health? Well, this all comes from the youth. The World Health Organization right now is placing an immense pressure on the youth being involved in preventative health because the youth, that's where it starts. For example, people at a younger age who engage in daily exercise are way more likely to take that habit into adulthood. And that specific example is so important right now because the World Health Organization estimates that there are about 1.8 billion adults who are at risk of health issues and conditions simply because they are not having the proper exercise and daily movement. 1.8 billion. That is a number that me and the youth have to achieve to lower, because that number is way too high. But that number can only reduce starting with the youth. That is why there's so many youth organizations like the Peer Exchange Network for Habits and the Ohio Youth-led Prevention Network, both of which, as well as others, aim to create the better habits for the youth and reduce the bad ones. So that way, when we get rid of the harmful habits, we can introduce new ones, better ones, that will create better preventative health for people in the future. So, in conclusion, after everything I've talked about, I want to leave you with this. We may have studied keystone habits, the habit loop, how to take tangible steps for the future, but the most important thing is that each and every one of us need to realize that our habits don't just define who we are, but they define our health, our well-being. And we need to take an action towards that. So today, I want to invite each and every one of you to join me and the youth in this preventative health habit movement that will define our generations. Thank you.